Flex it.
Hey there racers, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something a little bit different. I want to take some time to review a product that I've had on my rig for the past month or so now, which has been this triple monitor bezel free kit that you can pick up off like Etsy or eBay. Sometimes the bezels can be a bit of an experience or an immersion breaker when you're sim racing. So I just want to share my experience and my thoughts of how I've had it on the rig and generally how it's been on sort of day-to-day PC activities as well. First things first, let's see what you get inside the box. So the kit includes 2 optical strips, which are designed to sit over the bezels of the monitors, which blend the edges to create that continuous display. You also get this elastic string that fits into the 3D printed part, which can be adjusted with this toggle switch. And essentially you can pull the string tighter or looser to prevent it falling off the front of the monitor. The 3D printed part also has these 2 holes for Allen keys which adjust this vice-like grip, which then holds the optical strips. And by loosening it, you can adjust it higher or lower depending on the height of the monitor and also to ensure it sits flush. Another key thing to check is when you're using the bezel free kit that you have it facing the right way. One side is opaque and the other side is translucent. So you can see on the left-hand side, you can see my fingers through, whereas the right-hand side, you can barely see 2 fingers. If it's facing the wrong way, essentially the bezel-free kit is not going to work. All right, so that's everything set up. So let's fire up a game and just see how this performs. Okay, so this is the bezel-free kit now on my monitor setup. And if you look at the monitor on the left, it's doing a really great job at hiding where the monitor ends and the other monitor begins and basically doing what it's intending to do. However, it's not all perfect. You can clearly tell that the monitor on the right, there's a huge amount of sun glare coming off the strip, which is extremely distracting, especially when I'm recording sort of a sim racing video. This isn't too much of an issue when you're in-game, which you'll see in a second. So from an in-game perspective, they definitely obviously are still there if you're directly looking at that. But that's not what you're focusing at when you're racing. You're generally looking at the car in front of you, the corner, the curbs, and people around you. You're not looking at the strips per se, so they just blend into the background and give you that sort of seamless, continuous display experience. If we look at this shot here, this is with the kit removed, and you can see the difference it makes. Again, on the monitor on the left, it's not too much of an issue because where the bezel lines up is inside the car, so you don't notice it, but that black line splitting the windscreen is something definitely more noticeable, when you're staring at it this way. I personally feel, sort of from the in-game footage, when you are racing, it's almost like your nose, right? Your eyes can always see it's there, but they never notice it from like a day-to-day activity. And that's similar effect that you have when you're racing. You're focusing on the cars ahead and everything around you, so you don't actually notice the bezels either way that much. So the kit does deliver an experience, but from time to time when you're racing, most of the time your eyes kind of just ignore the black bars that are there. So I just want to show you guys also how it looks like on the monitor setup when I don't have sort of PC running sim racing games. And I find it slightly distracting because you can see there's these like grey bars which are actually a lot more predominant when you're looking at it directly. With the mouse as well, as it goes through the bezel free kit, you can see the slight ghosting. So sometimes you're a little bit uncertain if you're clicking on the right thing, especially anything on that sidebar that pops up. And they're not the easiest things to remove. Like you can't get them on and off very quickly. Like it does take a couple minutes to put them on, so it can be slightly frustrating. And my final grudge with this is actually how they look on the monitors sat there when they're turned off. I'm actually not a huge fan because I try to make my setup look as clean as possible, so I feel like they look a bit too cluttered. And unfortunately, they pick up fingerprints quite heavily, so they don't look that great. Overall, the triple monitor bezel-free kit is a solid addition to any sim racing setup. It's not perfect, but for the price, it does a commendable job at reducing the bezels and the visibility of them in general. If you're looking for an affordable way to minimize those annoying bezels, I think the kit is worth considering. Well, that is it for today. If you found the video helpful, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more sim racing content and just general product reviews. If you hit that bell icon, you'll never miss an update. Until next time, keep racing, stay fast.
Flex it.